Hello everyone and welcome back to another one of the Mighty Pig Lord videos. I just want to make a quick announcement before the video begins. I'm going to be making lore videos for a while alongside my normal gaming vids. Yeah, so there'll be, lore vids about FNAF and Star Wars and stuff. They'll be popping up every now and then. I also just want to apologize for my kind of inconsistent upload schedule. I've been very busy the last few weeks and I'm going to try and get back onto this YouTube train, but if you don't see a vid every now and then, it's just because I'm very busy. But I'll try and get them out to you, so yeah, enjoy. Happy late Halloween, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about a monster, but not a ghoul or a demon. We're going to be talking about a monster that could exist in our world, but luckily he does not. Hopefully. I'm going to talk about a character from Five Nights at Freddy's called Purple Guy. Let's see how this character evolves. So I'm going to go through each of the FNAF games and say how the character evolved throughout each of them. So let's begin. Okay, FNAF 1, where it all began. So in FNAF 1 we actually don't learn too much about Purple Guy in this game. The game is mostly just about the animatronics and trying to give the players a good old scare, which it succeeds at. But it doesn't have too much lore at this point in the series. But there is one part of the lore about Purple Guy, one big part in FNAF 1. In the first game, if you go to Cam 4B, you can see the rules of the pizzeria. It's the common things: don't run, don't, eat and stuff like that. But every now and then, very rarely, this poster will change to old newspapers explaining the history of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And one of the stories is very interesting, and it involves a person who would later be known as Purple Guy. I'll just read you the long and short of it, and I'll try and give a visual representation of what happened. It's totally 100% accurate. So yeah, this mysterious person went into Freddy's, he grabbed a mascot costume, and then he lured 5 kids and snatched them up, and the police weren't able to find him. So yeah, it's a very dark story. But this is the first time we learn about Purple Guy. We don't learn much about him, just that he's a monster who snatches kids in a mascot costume, and we can presume he worked at Freddy's because he was able to get a mascot costume without raising suspicion. But he remains a very mysterious character, which I feel makes him even more scary in a way. He could be anyone. He's just a serial killer hiding in plain sight. I believe that makes him very... I don't know, it just makes him very scary because he could be anyone. He could be a staff member, he could be a random person standing in the corner. It's just a serial killer hiding in plain sight. I don't know, it makes our spines tingle. Let's hope we learn more about him in the later games, so let's move on to FNAF 2. Okay, FNAF 2. We learn a lot more about Purple Guy in this game, so I'll try to recap it as fast as I can. Okay, so this game is a prequel, and we learn throughout the game that Purple Guy has got his first 5 victims in this game, and it's going to cause the pizzeria to shut down. So that means we have 5 victims in this game, and 5 in the original, so 10, which is an unholy a lot, which is really disturbing. So that's not too much to go on, but when you're in FNAF 2 and you die, there's a very rare chance that you can get some mini-games that play after you die. And these games have a lot of lore about Purple Guy, so I'll try and explain these games as quickly as I can, and I'll try and explain how Purple Guy is involved with a lot of them. Happiest Day. Purple Guy doesn't physically appear in this game, but we see the result of his actions in this game. We see the puppet putting the souls of his victims into the animatronics to be reincarnated for revenge. So, as a result of Purple Guy's actions, this game is possible. Foxy Go Go Go. This game is a very simple one, where Foxy is on his little stage, and then when he's told to, he runs and greets a whole bunch of children. But the third time you do this, we see Purple Guy in the corner smiling, which is terrifying, showing that he is proud of his actions. Then we find the second victims from FNAF 1, proving that he is still on the loose, and also that he is proud of what he's done. Give Cake. We see Purple Guy's first victim in this game, where Freddy is giving a whole bunch of cake to kids inside the pizzeria. On the outside, we see a little kid looking in to the pizzeria through a window, and Purple Guy drives up and finishes her off and gets back in his car and drives away. And the final game, we see the aftermath of his killings in FNAF 2, with the puppet saying to Freddy that he must save the children. But very rarely Purple Guy appears, and he says one thing in the game: you can't. There are a few commonalities with Purple Guy in this game. One of the big commonalities that I'm going to say is the obvious one. He's purple. And the reason that he's purple in the games is pretty simple, actually. It's because he's meant to represent a shadowy figure. He's not literally purple. He's just a normal man. But because the background of the game is black, they represent shadows with purple. So he's a shadowy man. But the other thing is, we also see a commonality, that for all of his crimes, he is always smiling, which proves that he has absolutely no humanity within him. He makes him like a Michael Myers figure, where he's proud of what he's done and shows no remorse or emotion. He's just proud and smiles at what he's done. Let's see how his reign of tyranny comes to an end in FNAF 3, shall we? Okay, and at last, but not least, FNAF 3, the final game I will be covering today. So FNAF 3 also has a whole bunch of mini-games which explain the story leading up to the actual game, so I'm just gonna go over them first. Okay, so years after the closing of Freddy's, the building begins to fall apart, and the animatronics possessed by Purple Guy's victims were probably losing hope that they would ever get peace. When the Purple Guy returned to the pizzeria one last time to destroy the animatronics and the evidence of his dark deeds. He lured the animatronics back to the back room he killed them in the first time, and he tore them apart again. And just when he thought he got away with it, the spirits of the kids came back and they chased him into the back room, where he saw his old Spring Bonnie suit, the same suit he used to lure the kids away with all those years ago. And look what he does here. Just look. Justice served. Purple Guy died in the safe room. He was killed in the same suit he used to lure his victims away, in the same room he lured them to. And even though he was bleeding out in it, no one should feel sorry for him, because of the horrendous deeds he had done. The room was boarded back up with him still inside, making the back rooms his tomb for 30 years. Around the same time, his very first victim rounded up all of the other victims, and they had a birthday for the kids, whose birthday was cut short all those years ago, and the spirits moved on and had their happiest day. But there was one loose end left. Purple Guy didn't die that day, no. His body died and he started to decompose, but the same thing happened to him as what happened to his victims. He possessed the suit he died in and spent the next 30 years in an agonizing state. Every second was hell. The tomb he was trapped in was a small room. He was surrounded by reminders of his deeds and his sins, and the suit made moving agonizing. But, as fate would have it, eventually he was freed. A company wanted to make a horror attraction about the atrocities that happened in Fazbear Frights all those years ago. And when they were searching for an animatronic for their attraction, they never suspected that they would bring back the person who started all those rumors. He was surrounded by memorabilia of Freddy's and reminders of all his dark deeds, and he knew that there had to be one more night guard in the building, one more victim he could kill, and he started to hunt them down like an animal. He used to just be a monster in spirit, but now he was a physical monster. His name was no longer Purple Guy. This monster was called Springtrap, and he haunted the attraction for 5 days, trying desperately to get the night guard. But the place burnt down, with Springtrap still inside, which should bring an end to the story. But if you look at this newspaper and you brighten it up, you can see Springtrap in the background, and that means, oh no.
I always come back.
Well, even though Purple Guy survived, all his victims did move on for good. The Purple Guy may still be around, and evil lives on because of that, but his victims have passed on, and maybe some things are just better left forgotten. Thanks for watching, everyone.